All right, bang, welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports, Snake Draft Tuesday. We're joined by Tate in studio, and Chief is on Zoom because he has the sniffles, and then Rico Bosco on Zoom as well. Rico, welcome in.
Welcome in. Did I win the last one?
No.
Well,
I got robbed. I
don't remember. I was just saying no.
I think I won the one before that. Worst sports franchise. I was very happy with my board. I think that's the last one we did. But
I actually still hate you for that one because I won that draft and you voted me off because you thought my hockey pick was bad or something. You couldn't even tell me the first thing about the hockey team I picked.
It didn't jump off the board. Blame Eddie and his chaotic system, which now we know who Dave's going to vote for today. But
no, that's not true. I'll vote for who has the worst poll.
Excited for it. It's a good list. I think it's a good list.
Tate, welcome in.
Excited.
Yeah, I think it's a good draft.
It's a good one. It got a fuck yeah out of me when you texted it to me.
Yeah, it did. I think it's a really good draft. I thought about doing this like a mini draft on the stretch, but I was like, wait a minute. This is like a lot of good things we could put into our draft. So
worried about the board. Yeah, worried about the board getting thin quick.
I am too.
I don't think it will.
I think that a lot of these are just like, unless my team was in it, I wouldn't want to go to it.
And we should note, because obviously if you're reading it, it says sports bucket list. This is events. This is where you would want to go. And if you've already gone to it, you could still draft it. This is all-encompassing.
All right. That was the only question I had. Was I've gotten to do a few of these.
Yeah, that's fine. If you're like, this is awesome,
right,
it should be on your list. You are making the 5 best things for your bucket list. Who would want to go on your bucket list? Okay? That's how it is. On that note, we could just do the order and get this rolling. Jacob, number 1 through 5 behind his back. Rico, what number is it?
3.
It is?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, shit. All right, fuck it. I'll go 1-1.
All right, 1 through 4 behind Jacob's back. Tate.
That's a 4.
Chief.
3.
No, sir.
Dave.
1.
No, sir.
2.
Yes, sir.
Fucking stink at this.
I'm gonna take the 4 slot.
Ooh.
Yeah. 1 through 3, Tate.
That's a 2.
Nope.
Chief.
3.
Yes, sir.
What are my options? I had to grab
2, 3, 5.
2, 3, 5.
I'll go 3.
Okay, 1 or 2. White Sox, Dave.
Ooh. 2.
Yeah.
I'll go 2.
Fuck. I'll go 5.
All right. You had no choice. So I'm glad you're happy with it. Hey, before we get into today's draft, I want to talk about BlueChew. Have better sex with BlueChew. BlueChew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. These erection-enhancing tablets help men achieve stronger, harder, and longer-lasting erections for sexual activities. Guys, be ready when she needs it and get your first month of BlueChew free. Great sex is a few clicks away. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. BlueChew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part is that it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. BlueChew won't stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house. That is the mission, Dave. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of BlueChew free when you use promo code DOGWALK and pay just $5 in shipping. That's promo code DOGWALK. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring this podcast. All right, without further ado, the sports bucket list draft. Rico Bosco, 1-1. Who you got?
Because of the elitism of this and the fact that it's tickets through a lottery and how hard it is and the visual scenes, I think the 1-1 is the Masters.
Was everyone going to take that?
I've been. It was okay.
It's obviously
silence. Yeah,
it's on my board, but like
that was my 1-1, Rico, for sure.
It's just, when you factor in like how, and I'm not even the biggest golf guy, but I think when you factor in how hard it is to do this, a lot of these other things are pretty accessible. I think the Masters is up there. I like where I'm at with the 1-1.
I feel like it's if there's a will, there's a way. Though it's not like aren't all they?
There's very
much
much
disagree.
Yeah. Eddie knows.
Okay,
yeah.
You've been.
I went to the practice round.
Right.
It's cool. It's awesome. I definitely recommend people to do it if you have the opportunity. However, it's the reason why it's draftable so high is because you can't go on your own. Like, it's not a choice.
It is beautiful. So much of it is weather contingent, though, too. Because if it's hot and muggy and gross, you're having a bad time. And
I don't think I think
It's
April
early
in Georgia
April,
isn't
yeah.
like massively hot, dude.
it can be.
I don't think it's not going to be like 100 degrees.
Yeah,
out.
but like 70, like what? Like hot, like 82? Like it's
Talking
not
humidity, boys.
112.
I'm talking sweating your dick off, sitting there waiting for Tiger to come through. I don't know. I've been to probably 7 golf events. I've been to I went to the Ryder Cup. I went to the U.S. Open, and I went to the PGA and the Masters. I didn't really. It's just not for me. You're kind of just sitting on one hole, and you're kind of putzing around. It's cool, but as a fan, like you're seeing, like a very small percentage of the action that's actually going on, regardless of where you're sitting.
I agree with Chief. I'm not a big golf guy. This would have been my 1-1, but it's more so like you get to say you went to the Masters. There's only 2 things on the entire list I made that like you can't just have a lot of money and go to. This is one of them. You have to like find a way to win the lottery or whatever. Also, the idea that you can come back. Can't you only get merch at the Masters?
Yes.
That's pretty exclusive.
Yes.
Like,
And then people resell it, of course, but
I'm not
it's
saying my
the same,
time at the
yeah.
Masters would be the most fun I've ever had. It's still watching golf and you don't get to follow along. But saying you went to the Masters, having the merch, and being like, yeah, I've been to Augusta, I think that's pretty big.
How easy was it for you to go, Chief? And when did you go?
I mean, we got passes through a guy that my dad knew, like
Right.
and his family had the passes for like 100 years.
Okay.
So
Because I know a decent amount of people who have gone, and they all say the same thing. Like, yeah, it was like I checked it off the list, but it was
I think
fine.
it's listen. If
I
every
think the
sports fan,
azaleas pop more on TV. If I'm being honest.
it's on every sports fan's bucket list. But at the end of the day, should it be the number one bucket list thing, or is it just that because it's so exclusive?
I
That's
think
what
the
I'm.
foreplay guys are going to hate this clip.
Was it your 1-1, Ed?
No, it wasn't. But it was definitely a top 5. Like it's definitely a first round.
You can, I mean, people see different prospects. I'm okay with it. I think it's the elitism and stuff. I'd put it up there.
Dave, you're up.
I am gonna. So obviously the elitism and the scarcity of the tickets plays into this. How hard it is to go. This one is not necessarily hard to go to. I don't think the tickets are absurd every year, but I'm going with Army Navy. That is one. Like, obviously, I don't have an allegiance to either school. In fact, I root against Army now because of that dipshit that we kind of work with. But it's everything. Like, it's a national spectacle every year. Obviously, it's stars and stripes. That's one football game where I don't have a rooting allegiance where I'm like, I have to get there one day. Above all the other big football games that will be drafted, like I don't really. Like, if I want to go to the Super Bowl, I want to go to the Super Bowl if the Bears are playing in it. This one, I obviously don't give a shit, which makes it all the more better to me for a bucket list type draft. If that,
that's where it's kind of weird. It is team contingent based,
right?
So, like when you do look at bucket list items, I guess that backs up the Masters. You don't need anybody in it.
Exactly. That's why I put a first round grade on the Masters. I would have taken my pick over the Masters, but like. If there's no rooting interest and you still want to you're like, I have to be there one day, then I think that adds to how cool the event is in and of itself.
I think Army Navy's first round grade is tough.
Oh, I like it.
I think it's too high.
I'm with Dave.
I think it's way too high. The game usually sucks.
Third.
It's cool, the pageantry, and it's definitely draftable. Like I would just probably go maybe third round with it.
Yeah, redhead fucking hates America.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to go to Army Navy. No shit.
No, I'm just being honest.
Doesn't love football.
This
Doesn't
is
appreciate.
just military
it.
complex where you got to look tough. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's the way I'm doing it in my head is if I was offered tickets to this or tickets to this, which one would I accept? I do think Army-Navy game is a first-round draft pick. I had it 5th overall. I think that'd be huge to go to. Exclusive. It's the only other one outside the Masters where it's like you can't just be like, yeah, I'm going this year because I'm paying this much money. There are things I would accept tickets to before I go to the Army-Navy game. That's my answer.
It's also, I wish it was set in one place. Like moving it around, I don't really like that about it either.
I agree with you on that.
Like, put it one spot. Like, if it was on, like, one of the campuses and something like that. I
can't do it there.
When I
It's
was
too
a
big.
kid, it was always in Philly. And
It's
that was, like,
been at
kinda
20 different
halfway.
stadiums.
What?
I'm looking at it now. I think it's been at more than 20 different stadiums.
Well, I mean,
really? I
the
know it's
rivalry
been
is
in-
100 plus
I feel like
years
it's
old.
been in
so
Boston, New York,
York,
Philly, Baltimore, and D.C. I feel like in my lifetime. But
been
Yeah,
at
it's always
18.
going to be East Coast. They're not making people ship out to the West Coast for it, so it's always going to be East
It
Coast.
always should be East Coast.
Yeah, it should.
I think it should always be Philly.
Your thoughts, Rico?
Good pick. It's a good pick.
Have you been?
No.
I would like to
not.
go.
It's not
Every year I watch it. I mean, every year
at
I
that
watch it.
level.
I'm like, man, I
Might
gotta
be
get there
now,
one
but,
time.
yeah.
I gotta get there
So,
one year. Gotta get there
it's,
one year.
It's definitely on my bucket list for sure. But
I mean, how big's your bucket list then? If you think it's a third round, like a lot of these, like
25.
that's not third round.
I don't give a shit to go to like 90% of these that are going to be taken, unless my team is in them. Then I'd be like, I'll pay whatever the fuck you give me to. You charge me.
Okay. Chief, you're up.
I've always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby. I've never been. I'd love to do the Derby, the pageantry. I love horse racing. We've talked about Arlington on here a million times. So if I could do the Derby and do it the way that Portnoy does, I don't want to be like in the infield with.
Totally disagree with that part.
You want to be with the scumbags?
Oh yeah, give me all this. I mean, I would like to do
No,
either way.
I
I'd
wanna
get all
sit.
dressed up and everything, but being in the infield looks like it is the greatest time of all time.
I think that era of my life has come and gone.
Fair.
I want to be.
You
in
can't
air
suck it up for
conditioning.
one day. Come on, you can suck it
But
up
if
for
I
one
have
day.
the option, and it's my bucket list, I want to be in a suite at the finish line with a cocktail in my hand and a bet slip in the other and watching all the action. Like, I want to do it right. I don't want to be face down in the mud by race 6.
I've not gone to the Kentucky Derby. It is on my list for sure. Probably should have done my bachelor party there instead of Myrtle Beach, looking back. But I've done Saratoga 2 different ways. Growing up as a kid, packing a cooler, or even up to like 19, 20 maybe, and going with your grandma, always betting on the Grays, setting up a picnic table, and like, walking to the machine, whatever. And then I've done it with Dave, and it's light years different. A fucking suite, a box on the thing. Like he said, if you want to go actually watch the race in the thing, you have a box right there. You can do whatever you want. The food coming out is lobster tails and steak, and it's unbelievable. You got to do.
Yeah,
I'm
give me
out
that
on
version. Give me the Portnoy version.
You got to do
That's
that
what I
version.
want.
Got to do that version. It's life alt. Like, you can never go back to doing that.
I think you could go back. You don't want to mix it up with the people. And I'm pretty sure for the infield, at least at one point, I'm like 95% sure an infield ticket was only $20. I think it's still probably
If it's a big crowd, though. Like, crowd.
I know.
crowd.
Can you even see the race from the infield?
I don't know if you
technically,
can.
It's a big frat party. It's like going to
Yeah.
Alpine in the summer.
Yeah.
That's what yeah. So I think that'd be so much fun. But on Chief's point, that'd be awesome too, getting lobster tail and watching your, Bob Baffert horse probably cheating your horse out of a
Well, that's the funny thing. Is
Yeah.
one thing is easy to cross off your bucket list. The other way is not that easy.
Right.
It's kind of hard from what I understand. Unless you have a lot of money, which I'm sure you could just buy a box. Like, I don't think the box process is not that exclusive, is it?
if I'm sure if you can afford a
I've never
box, you
been-
just
I've never had the opportunity to try to buy a box, so I've never looked into it.
But they might go quick, Dave. Like, everyone.
sure,
knows
yeah,
everyone.
no, I get it, yeah.
I think it's a good pick, though.
For sure.
Thank you.
To me, I got to take my number one,
That's the point.
but I have other ones I've been to, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, one that's still on mine and not crossed off.
Still on your bucket list.
Yes. I'm taking Duke UNC.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, that's
All
one
right,
of those.
Hold
where
on.
Thought that might float. I thought that might float to me. You do have to clarify where.
Yeah, pretty obvious.
Oh, it's very obvious.
He's acting like it's not obvious.
Yeah, it's Cameron Indoor.
Yes,
Okay.
it's Cameron
Yeah,
Indoor.
It's Cameron
All right.
Indoor. Yes, it's Cameron
All
Indoor.
right. I thought that was going to sit around for a little bit.
Yeah, no, dude. I think that's one of those things where I have to get there.
Yes, that would have been my next pick if I didn't take Army Navy.
Yeah.
I think this is a good pick. It was on my list. I do think that it's not what it was.
I think
I
that's
agree.
cyclical though, but a lot of these
It has. Yeah,
ebbs
Marty
and
gets
flows,
very mad
yeah.
when I said that the rivalry has lost a little bit of juice.
It
I
has.
think the whole sport has.
Who's UNC's
fair,
coach now?
That's a little bit fair.
Hubert
too.
Davis.
Hubert Davis and Shire. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't.
shot
but-
like it's yeah.
Shire's not like the fuck you cunt that Coach K was. There's not like
Right.
that
But
blood
I
rivalry.
I do think the one and done thing, like
Hurts
when it was Hansbrough, and it's like
Reddick.
and you knew that they're like Hansbrough played them 8 times, like plus the conference tournament.
Roy
That
Williams,
gave it more
Coach
juice.
K.
And
Yes.
getting hit
There
in
was
the
a-
face and bleeding, and
There was a time where this was like when we were growing up in like our like teenage, like early 20s years, this would have been like my number one. Like
Yeah,
every
I
time
agree.
they played was like war. You've got like you said Hansbrough, you've got JJ Redick, you've got the Cameron Crazies, and I know they do all that now, but now it's like, all right, Zion comes for a year. You just saw Cooper Flagg play. It was huge. It was a really expensive ticket. He plays them one time at Cameron Indoor, and then next year it's going to be a new 5-star.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's
But it's
There's
but it-
also yeah. I mean,
And
some
I'm
of the
not against it.
classics. The classics were even when the teams were bad. They say it all the time, like throw out the score. I'm pretty sure that Capel shot, like Duke was bad that year. They weren't great, and they still hit that half court. Like anything can happen in this game. And for a long, yeah, you're right. Growing up, it did feel like can't miss television. I also think it's lost a little bit of. I know it's going to sound weird. It's lost a little bit of juice. I don't know if it's lost juice, but they used to do a weeknight during rivalry week of college basketball. I know Chief remembers that too.
Yep.
Like I kind of liked it during the week as well. Like once on the week, and then it was the last day of the regular season.
Correct.
Keep the regular season on a Saturday, and then whoever gets it, put it during the week. And then they're showing kids sleeping during the. Camping out during the week and shit.
yeah.
They have class the next morning. Like it just adds to it. I don't know. A Wednesday at fucking 9:00 in the middle of rivalry week with Florida, Tennessee, like right before it was fucking great. You know, like
But this rivalry is bigger than the players on the floor. Like, I want to go there and see the old-ass fucking guy in the powder blue 1957 National Championships jacket. You know? Like, that's what you
yeah,
go
it's
for.
great. It's definitely a first round grade. I'm disappointed with what.
it's become.
I think if you ask a guy now, or you ask a kid who played or finished last season, like a one and done, or any of those guys who were there for a year, maybe or transferred, like whatever. You in 5 or 10 years, if somebody, let's say you're at a golf tournament, you meet somebody, or you're at business, and the guy's like, "Oh, where'd you go to school?" "I went to Duke. I actually played on the team." Like even if he's a walk or whatever. Now I feel like now's kids would be like, "How'd you do against Carolina?" And they'd be like, I think we beat them this year, and then maybe like in the
maybe.
second back. You ask Hansborough, he knows the fucking score, he knows the time. Like we did a pod with him, he's like, "Yeah, we beat him." I think he beat him 4 times at Cameron. Crazily, those teams were unbelievable. You could look that up, but like they knew the score, they knew what they were wearing. Like for a long period of time, it was ingrained in them.
Yeah.
Now I feel like the kids are there for 1 year. You got to get like hyped up for
Yeah,
that. Like it's weird.
Familiarity
Like,
breeds contempt.
Yeah,
like
they're
you need
still-
to play
they're-
more than 1 or 2
they're
times
still
to
they're
really
still
hate somebody.
They're still hyped up because it's Carolina, but I feel like they're being told to be hyped up because it's Carolina. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
It doesn't mean anything I shouldn't say that, but to some people it doesn't mean
It means
much.
less.
Yes.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I think it means less to the kids nowadays, but that's
Yeah, like I don't know if
different-
I saw Jalil Okafor if he's like, oh yeah, like that was
Fuck
insane.
NC.
He'd be
right.
like,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
I will say though, if going back to my test of like what would you take tickets over, there's I have it as a first round grade because there's very few things on the planet that if you said, Tate, I can give you UNC at Duke tickets, I'm taking that over just about every single thing on this list.
Right.
Because that's a true bucket list.
Yes.
That would be a trip that you've never done before, inside Cameron Indoor, places packed, kids are packed or camped out. I would go there.
Yeah, it was my 1-1 with a bullet, so I'm happy I got it 4. Tate, you're up.
All right. I feel like I have to do it. Obviously it's team contingent, but the Super Bowl. this, if I've never been to the Super Bowl, it's really fucking expensive to go. I don't see a way that I would ever go unless the Cleveland Browns are in it, and then this company decides that that'd be cool if we, had Tate in the stands. Super Bowl is once a year. It's a spectacle. The halftime show, it is an event. Everything around it, I want to go to the Super Bowl.
While obviously this is an easy pick, I think it's also easy to nitpick. So many people, it's everything about everything other than the game. A lot of there's a lot of shit that I personally wouldn't want to deal with. Like if someone said, hey, you can go to the Super Bowl, and it'd be like, I got to fly there. I don't know that I'd do that. I don't know that I'd take them up on it.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I would say that if I've asked you, like, what sporting events have you been to in your lifetime, and you've been to a Super Bowl, I think the very first thing you would say is, I've been to a Super Bowl.
I hate the fact that you have to defend the fucking Super Bowl. Like, that's a little. I kind of knew you'd be anti-Super Bowl. I just knew coming into this one, you'd be like, oh, who gives a fuck? It's a fucking Super Bowl.
Of course.
It would be really cool to go to one, regardless.
It would, of course. You know what? I think it is fair to nitpick it, though. Yeah, I wouldn't be hell bent.
Super Bowl's great.
I wouldn't be hell bent on going to the Super Bowl unless the Bears were playing in the Super Bowl.
And one thing I would add to the Super Bowl's like prestige is, now games might turn out being bad, but going into the Super Bowl, it is the two best teams. Like Duke, there could be times where Duke is not as good, UNC's not as good, Navy's not very good, Army's not very good. On the surface level, going into it, it's supposed to be two excellent teams every year.
True.
Yeah. So definitely. No, it's a Super Bowl. It's a first round pick, and I have no problem with it. You're up again.
See, I think you do have a problem with it.
No, I have a problem with it because I fucking knew you. I'm kind of surprised Chief doesn't have a problem with it too.
What do you mean?
It just seems like something you'd be like, fuck it.
No, I'd like to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the Super Bowl, but like I wouldn't. I'm not like I would love to go to Army Navy one day. Like I will do that one day if I never make it to the Super Bowl.
I think the argument is that the Super Bowl historically is so good on TV that you don't necessarily, and it's such an event, no matter where you are, that you don't need to necessarily go there to get the full experience.
But you have every single year of your life to live that way to watch the Super Bowl.
I agree. That's why I think it's a good pick. But if you're asking me, to shit on it because you're surprised I didn't shit on it, that would be my logic.
That's what I'm saying. There are ways to nitpick
it. You have to
it.
yank that out of me.
But obviously, it's the Super Bowl. Of course, I want to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're up again.
All right. This is an interesting one for me because I would say there's two sort of mainstream sports that I'm just not interested in. I don't follow at all, but I think that they have very much bucket list potential. I would like to go to the World Cup. I think going to the World Cup where I don't care, but everyone there, it's the most important thing that they've ever done in their entire life. If you can bring a World Cup back to your country, that is somewhere where I just want to take it all in. Go. I don't want it to be in the United States. I want it to be in fucking Spain. I want it to be in wherever is like where they care. Brazil care most about soccer, and I just want to take it in.
Yeah, I think you could spend 3 hours watching 1-0 on TV and still see the crowd like cheering and shit like that.
That's part of the reason why it's on the bucket list, Bosco.
Waste of grass.
I'm with Bosco.
But I will say, if you're into it, you got to go. So that's where it's weird with a lot of these things. Like some people will be like, no interest. There's a lot of things like, is the World Cup a second round pick? 100%. I just have no interest in it. And I think some of my picks, you guys will be like, no interest.
Yeah.
So it's a very conflicting draft, and I think the crowd will determine, like, where it's at. We say don't pander. I think this is a draft where you kind of pander to try to get the ones where people be like, all right, the most neutral people will want to go to,
So I love soccer. I thought about taking this in the first round, but the more I thought about it, like, you don't get to pick. Like, they come around every 4 years. So this one's in the United States. There's no games in Chicago. I don't know that I necessarily need to travel for a random World Cup game. It'd be cool to go to the final, but I think that's in L.A. Like, I don't know if I want, who cares about fucking L.A.? The next one is a combination of Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, I believe. That will be cool. The one after that's in Saudi Arabia. The one before this was in Qatar. Sorry, I'm fucking out. I'm not just so. I think it is so location contingent upon what your experience is going to be like as a fan that I don't want to go to the one in Riyadh. So
100%. I didn't know how to work. Like, obviously, like, say you obviously want a Game 7 of this, or you want the World Cup final of this. I want to go to the one where it's the two blue blood countries, and it's a World Cup final, and one of them's at home, and the other one's supposed to beat them, and the whole place is just drunk and lighting shit on fire outside the stadium. That's where I want to go. Because I would consider that.
Awesome.
I would consider that to be, like, I have a lot of things on this list that I think we could go to if we were just like, hey, you guys want to go down there?
Sure.
World Cup in another country to me is a once in a lifetime. You're not doing it twice.
But even so, like the last one, the one in 22, it was what you're talking about. It was Messi, it was Mbappe, Argentina against France, like blue blood, a lot on the line, great storylines. Ended up being one of the most dramatic finishes of all time. Couldn't have asked for a better game. You're still watching it in Qatar.
Yeah, it's a tough
so
pill to
like
swallow.
you know,
See,
you're not getting that drunken experience celebrating with the hood. Like you're just not.
That's
So
true.
that's what bumped it down. It's still on my list.
Fucking FIFA.
But what?
I said FIFA, motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you kind of have to. I think the next one will be cool in Portugal and Spain sharing it with Morocco, but 2034 pass.
The no boozes, that's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
I
it's
do-
not on my personal bucket list, but I would definitely love to go. It'd be really cool to go. Like it'd be awesome to see. All right, it's to me. I'm gonna go Vegas heavyweight title fight.
Motherfucker.
Boxing?
You have to call. You do have to say.
Because one's on my list, one's not.
I gotta go boxing.
That's the right answer.
Yeah,
I don't.
You're
not
the
anymore,
other
it's
way?
Not
I
anymore,
should
it's
have
not.
Eddie. I should have.
this
That
is
was
it.
gonna be
Should have
my
known
next
Eddie was
pick.
a boxing guy. I think this checks all the boxes of like the elite of the elite. You know, like even going back to Ocean's 11, like the tuxedos, and you've seen.
Lennox Lewis and
Yeah, I mean it's
Holyfield,
good.
yeah.
Good seats contingent as well. Like I don't think you're up in the boons with this, but like a lot of these are that base too. But yeah, and the sport is just like dead to a degree.
That's why.
But
But
I don't think you're
Back
seeing
in
George
the-
Clooney
yeah,
and those
I don't
people
know
at.
if it ever did come back, two heavyweights in a fucking prize fight. People
Yep.
like, you went to that, you know, like it's one of those things I don't think that translates to TV as well, or you don't get the appreciation of like the blood and the sweat and the fucking spit.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. A prize fight is up there. I thought I was gonna steal it.
We will get back to it. We
That
almost
hurts
got
me.
there.
Hurts my board.
Almost got there. I feel like Fury Wilder was really good.
It was good.
All right,
I
so
watched it on TV.
That's that was going to be my other point. As big as UFC has gotten, I still think Fury Wilder had more gas behind it. Like I still think that fight, like those two guys, I think that was a bigger moment in the culture, even though boxing is so down, than a John Jones fight.
I think there's a reason for that, and that's because boxing fights never fucking happen, and UFCs typically do, even though John Jones doesn't fight that much. But regardless, mine is not like an anti-UFC stance.
know
I
it's
love
not.
UFC.
Yeah.
You know that. There's something old school, like we are now at MGM Grand, where here comes the heavyweight title. You know, there's something big about that.
If you're
Do you
just
think it has
looking
to
at
be
like
heavyweight specific?
For me, I don't think it has to, but like, yeah, I think it does have. Or put it this way: if they were like, when are you going to spend the money, or would you ever spend the money to do this? I would only do it for a heavyweight. I'm not watching two middleweights go at it, or I'm not watching lightweights.
I would.
I'd watch
would
Pacquiao.
100%.
Yeah, I guess I'd
versus
still
Hatton
go, but I'd rather it be heavyweights.
or Amir Khan.
Yeah, that fucking
What were you gonna
glass
say?
jaw bitch.
He is a glass jaw bitch. I think that if you're just looking at this from like a complete macro view, boxing is the correct answer. But just over the last, I don't know, decade or whatever, it's UFC.
Sure.
It's not as good.
If I went to fucking prime Lesnar,
Like
versus
Tyson,
whatever.
yes.
But like,
No, I'm talking about like prime heavyweight. If we're drafting in 1995, if we time travel to 20 years, 30 years ago, then boxing, obviously, but it's just, I don't know.
That's because it's not there right now, but it can come back.
It can absolutely come back. You just need the guys to do it.
Yeah. And what is it, Chief? What is boxing?
Are you trying to say boxing's Americana?
Americana.
Oh,
I mean, no, it's not.
It's not.
You just don't even know the essence
Americana.
of Americana.
He doesn't know the first thing about
shocking
Americana.
from
It's Americana.
that end. Boxing's Americana.
Oh, yeah.
I think boxing's pretty global, Ed.
Yeah, it's global.
It's more Mexicana than Americana.
Mexicana, it's
Main event in Vegas.
Caribbeana, South
buddy,
Americana.
main event in Vegas is Americana.
You don't understand what Americana
I'm
is.
telling you, it's Americana. It is.
The most
Chief.
famous boxing match in history was filmed in the jungle of
get that.
Africa,
The
Ed.
Thrilla in Manila. You're not getting my point, so whatever. You guys are stupid. Chief, you're up.
Great pick.
It was a good pick. I'm gonna go to one that I've seen my friend Tate at that I've always wanted to go. I want a Michigan Ohio State at the Big House. Like that would be. That's one of those. I hate that it's at 11 o'clock, but other than that, it is. They're always, especially in recent times, are both relevant. Almost always, my entire life, something is on the line. Whether it's a trip to the playoff, a Big Ten championship, something's always on the line. It's always a big game. There's always a fight, seemingly, on the field. I'm sure there's fights in the stands. I don't think anything in America matches that level of intensity every single year. Because while the Iron Bowl and others are great too, like Auburn's not always. They're not at that same level. So these are like two true blue bloods who fucking hate each other. They're passing legislation about flags planted in the field now because of this. So
Aren't they technically still at war over the city of Toledo?
Toledo, yeah. So
Like the two states aren't they at war?
Michigan, Ohio State at the
It's
Big
in
House.
Ohio. It's a great pick, Chief. I'll
Word dispute.
pardon.
Nothing. Go ahead.
I'll agree. I've been to obviously both stadiums for the game. The Big House is awesome. I'll say that. The Big House is an awesome. What's that?
Go ahead.
I think the Big House is an awesome selection. And I'm at the point now where I think that there's nothing better than watching sports on your couch. Like the TV product is officially better than like the in-person product. So I'm more so picking things where the hype around it and the atmosphere before it and after it and all that. There is nothing better than when the opposing team runs into a rivalry game and the whole stadium of the Big House or of the Shoe, 100,000 people welcome them with just the loudest boo you'll ever have, while the rest of the team is double birding the crowd. I'm talking too passionate about it, but every game, Chiefs right, is either there's a fight beforehand or there's a fight during the game, or an Ohio State player gets ejected in the Big House and then double birds everyone as he walks out. Every game for the last 30 years has been a fight as they go into the locker room together, and there's a fight. It's a great pick.
It's on my board.
Probably should have been a first. Or could have been.
The greatest
Depending on
hindrance
taste.
is that they fucking do 11 a.m. every year.
Yeah, when did they switch that?
It's
I think they've only played one time at 3:30
At night, I remember that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I think they played at night one time.
I'm pretty sure. I should know this. I'm pretty sure the only time because I call them 3:30 and noon starts, being from the East Coast.
Yeah.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. But I think the one time they've kicked off at 3:30 was in 2006, Game of the Century 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
They started at 3:30 and then it turned into the night because it's end of November.
and everybody's blackout wasted.
There's been like 3 times in the history where they started at 2, and every other time it's just been noon. Do you like it or hate it?
I hate it.
I think it should be 2:30.
Let's try 6:30. Let's just be like, hey, everyone behave, or we're never
Yeah,
gonna allow.
yes, nicely.
We're never gonna let you have this again. Let's try it out. Ohio State could run out on the blacks. Like it'd be great.
No, that pissed me off. That's
No,
wrong.
I hate
That's
that.
wrong. That was wrong. But I think there's nothing better than 3:30, 2:30, 3:30, 2:30, whatever, that then starts during the day. You've had time to get up, tailgate, have fun, and then it turns into the early night. But this year, I went to the game this year. You can only get up so early. Like we're doing in college, we're doing kegs and eggs at 7, 8 in the morning. That still only gives you 3 hours of tailgating because you got to get in at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Just start drinking earlier.
I agree with everything Tate just said.
And it just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, that does take some of it
That
out.
sucks.
Yeah.
Chief, would you rather go? This is just a personal question. Would you rather go now at the end of the year when it's next year? It's at the big house, or would you rather go when they play for a Big Ten title, which they might, or even for in the playoff?
I'd rather go to either Michigan or Ohio State.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
One of my
It sucks.
best friends
It
went to
sucks.
Michigan,
It sucks.
and he, massive sports fan and everything, said that Ohio State Stadium is 1,000 times better than the big house for that game. He says it's louder, it's better atmosphere.
I guess it is. I guess it never was at night.
3:30
I thought
once. 3:30
Yeah,
one time.
3:30 one time. I thought I saw Funhouse dunk on Francesa one time and show them at like it was night, but that must have been the 3:30 start. It got dark at 5
Probably, yeah.
or something, and maybe he was like needling it. But yeah, I guess never once at night.
And it's always, I'm talking too much of it's always senior day for either team. I agree that it's kind of died down with the playoff and with the all this, because it used to be you can't beat them. If you can't beat them, you can't move on to national championship or whatever, and you're ruining someone's senior day while you're doing it.
Yeah, but it still means fucking
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's,
Fuck yeah.
to those kids on the field and the fans in the stands.
Now, how was this year's season? Was it affected because of the loss?
Yeah,
Like,
1,000%. We don't need to talk too much. Dave keeps trying to get me acting like I've said like it erases everything. Absolutely does not erase anything. That loss hurts more than any loss I've ever had in my entire life. It lessens it because, like, it lessens
Won the
the hurt
championship.
because we won the championship.
White Sox Dave, you're up.
It also, just to clarify, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I remember this too for a weird reason. Like now, it's not always Thanksgiving weekend. Just to clarify, also, the game of the century was the week because I remember watching that at college. It was a week before Thanksgiving,
Okay.
so it has moved around as well. Just to clarify.
Dave?
This isn't a very easy one for me. World Series Game 7.
Are we allowed to do that?
Like
You can't specify, but like you get World Series.
Okay, yeah,
like,
sure.
I get it.
You get where you're going. Yeah, but I think with all of that, you get where you're going with that. Like the Masters, I'm not attending the practice round. I'm attending Sunday
Yes, yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like it's like
you're getting.
Okay,
yeah, you're getting. You're getting. You know where
sure,
you're going
whatever.
with that.
Obviously, I'm speaking as if it were Game 7, but an elimination game, winner take all baseball game. Baseball obviously has its faults. It's boring. The season's too long. It's not built for the short attention spans that people have in the year 2024. However, playoff baseball, and I think we'll talk about hockey later, is fucking awesome. Just as like we're not hockey fans here, we love hockey playoffs, but baseball players are fucking awesome. The World Series, every single breath, every pitch, every play, every
Right.
swing,
100% right.
Dave, 3-2 count. Every single person's on their feet.
on their feet. Ugh,
Strikes
I get the
out.
chills just thinking about it. Yeah.
The roar of the
Baseball's the best in-person
I-
sport by far.
yeah.
I'm so glad Baseball Sox Dave is back, because what the White Sox have done to you, where you just feel like you don't even care about the game anymore. So I'm glad you picked this.
So I would say if you could guarantee me it was Game 7, it would go 1-1 for me every single fucking time.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't, pinpoint exactly what you want every time, but World Series Game 7, playoff baseball, #1 overall.
I mean, you guys all lived it against each other.
Yeah, did you go in
Tate and I-
16?
I was right outside the stadium.
Yeah.
I was like unable to afford tickets at the
I
time. That
watched
fucking rain delay.
that fucking rain delay.
That
That
game was
fucking rain delay.
It
And
was
when Rajai Davis hit that fucking home run, I said
sports moment of my life.
I was sideways on my couch, just depressed as fuck, watching alone. And I swear to God, I told the story to Paul Pabst the other day that I had, for one time and one time only, a 40-inch vertical. I jumped so high off of my couch from my feet weren't even touching the ground. I did it. It was like I levitated or something when he hit that home run, and then that fucking rain delay.
What do you want? It was raining.
Shut the
for 5
fuck
fucking
up,
minutes. For 5 fucking minutes, and it completely took all the fucking the wind out of the Indian sails.
What do you want him to play fucking in the rain?
Chief, I'm not
Come
dealing
on.
with the troll. I'm talking over here.
And that little fucking chopper
motherfucker.
two hopper down the third base
He's
line
right,
that
though.
wiener Ben Zobrist hits.
My family has a candle of a
3-1
baseball
series lead.
that my grandpa passed down to my dad, and it's only brought out for only big games. Hadn't been brought out since I think 99 or something.
Kenny Lofton
We
years.
brought it to the bar in 2016 and lit it at the middle of our table. It was like like the uncles, cousins, myself. It was like the biggest Cleveland moment. It was so great. I think we flipped a table when Davis hits the home run. I remember me and my little cousin running up to the stadium to see if they were warming up after the rain delay. That Davis home run would have been my number one sports moment for the rest of my time.
Forever.
But they lose.
Sure. Did you leave that candle there?
No, we still have it, dude.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Come on.
Well, I don't know.
I
don't know if the Cubs killed the candle.
I know like nobody. I can't prove this or anything, but I remember watching Rajai Davis take practice swings, and Aroldis Chapman's pitching, who throws 130 miles an hour, obviously. And I remember looking at his swing when he was practice swing. I'm like, he is staying so short. Like he's just trying to fucking make contact and let the velocity. And I'm like, I have a good feeling about this at bat right here. And he went yard. And then that fucking rain delay. That fucking rain delay.
Your smirk's killing me.
Oh, man.
That fucking rain delay.
Honestly, like, something happened. Like, someone took their hands off, like the controller, because the Cubs weren't supposed to win that game.
3-1 series lead.
Yeah.
I have a question for the Cubs fans. Did you guys, was it in the back of your mind that Rajai Davis could hit that home run or no?
I mean, you don't think anything good is going to happen to you as a Cubs fan.
I've always wondered that from the other side, because I don't know how to describe it. It never even it was like we hit a 3-run home run with only 1 runner on base. That's how shocking it was. It was like, oh my God, like please find a way to like wear one, like get hit by a pitch somehow. And then he hit a home run. I was like, oh my God, we're tied.
He stayed short, and he knew that fastball was coming. He just let the velocity do all the work for him. It was a perfect baseball swing.
It was the slowest home run ever, too.
And it just inched over the left field fence, like little soft.
It
oh
was
my
like,
God.
of course. Like, of course that just happened.
Baseball's the best.
Of course.
Rico.
But then it rained. So.
Yeah, a lot of things disappearing on here. I'm going to go... Because of the pageantry and everything, again, I'm going with that. And like, why you would want to leave the house or what it means and everything I've heard about the visuals and stuff like that. And it now has moved to even bigger stakes. It used to be the granddaddy of them all, as it was, but now it's moved to a playoff game, taking the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Good
taking the Rose Bowl. New Year's Day, perfect kind of time, beautiful California. Sunsets, this, that. Like, it's getting dark as it's going. I'll take the Rose Bowl.
Let's go see Cal UCLA.
That would have been my next
Same
pick.
thing.
There's something about, they paint the sidelines of team colors.
Yeah.
We're in, like, the depths of winter where we're from, and you put on that TV, and the sun's shining. You've never seen grass that green, and sun's beaming off the players' helmets. I love the Rose Bowl. And I would have taken this with my next pick. So
yeah,
it sucks that it's not what it
doesn't
used to
mean
be.
anything anymore.
Well, but this year it was Ohio State, Oregon. It was the 2 best teams in the country in the Rose Bowl.
You can't say it doesn't mean anything. It's a playoff game,
but
now, Dave.
it's not the Pac-12 versus Big Ten. It's just it's not the
but
Rose
it's
Bowl.
still like, all right, when
This
people
year
be like, what
was-
year did you go to a Rose Bowl? It's a fucking playoff game now. I actually think that means more. I know, like,
I'll
again,
say
I
this.
said it.
Unless you're an Oregon or Ohio State fan, nobody is going to remember in 10 years who was in the 2023 or 4 or Rose Bowl. No one's going to remember that because it's just another playoff game now.
You can make that argument that before that it gets lost in the shuffle of just another bowl game. It is the
it was the grand. You just said it yourself. It was the grand. Rico, you're trying to argue against your own pick right now.
Rico's right too. There was a time like pre-2000s where the Rose Bowl was like the end of your season and it was the granddaddy of them all.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a time in like where it's not the national championship, but it's a New Year's Six Bowl, and it was. I think it's back to being
wasn't
bigger
always
than that.
Pac-10, Big Ten. They were filling people in because if they did make the championship, it was downgraded a little bit, Dave. That's true. It's 100% true.
It is.
Rico, I want to give you a compliment. Your draft so far of Masters and Rose Bowl is a scenic beauty.
Yeah, now we're at the
aesthetically, you
crossroads.
probably
I don't
got
know
the-
which way.
You probably got the
Yeah,
best.
this is where it's.
What do you got next?
Tough.
Let's pause again to talk about bird dogs. Chief, what's your favorite bird dogs apparel that you own?
I'm on these khaki pants. The khaki, they're like a stretchy material. They're awesome. You can wear them out to dinner, golf course, Easter's coming up, wear them in the office. Bird Dogs, and they have these great quarter zips too. So I'm between the two. I wear them a lot. You guys have already seen me wearing them.
Yep, Bird Dog's got those classic quarter zips, perfect for when you're looking for something in between. You know, whether you're golfing or going on a first date, or Bird Dog's quarter zips, it's your new go-to.
Oh, big time. Quarter zip's a great look.
Really is. And like you said, the pants are great. Wearing nice pants are the worst, so Bird Dogs makes you presentable but is also comfortable.
You'll look great.
Yeah.
You'll look great.
The athleisure pants, they look shiny and too casual for the office, but Bird Dog stretch khakis can get you and finally have comfort and style. For a limited time, our listeners get a free hat with any order when you use code DOGWALK at birddogs.com. Get this hat completely free when you use code DOGWALK at birddogs.com. Support our show and let them know that we sent you. Yeah, go do it. Shout out Bird Dogs.
I know. I think I could take a pick that could completely fuck it up.
Fuck it up.
Fuck it up.
No, I think that one's gonna last. I think they all. It is what it is. All right, I've been to it, but I don't think there's much for this sport out there. Eddie definitely took the biggest one of that. It was on my bucket list. Lucky enough to have been to 3. It's a great environment, especially when it's in a walking town. Final Four is a great weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take I'm taking Final Four because you get 2 on Saturday instead of the championship game on a Monday night. It feels like also the town's dead. It's kind of like it's like the after party at a wedding. The Final Four is the wedding. The championship game is the after party. I've also never been to a championship game. We leave town. But I'll take the Final Four. That doubleheader, nice when it's on in a different time zone, a little bit earlier time, or even Arizona. Fans from different things, just college basketball fans as well. Like Jeff Van Gundy sitting 2 rows in front of you. It's like everybody who's anybody is there for that. It's a mess. It's weird to watch such 94 feet in such a massive stadium. But yeah, I'll take the Final Four and back the college basketball type thing.
Here come the Crimson Tide, Rico.
I got a dumb question. If you buy a ticket do you get both games for one
You
ticket?
get both games, yes.
Okay,
You get both
that
games.
adds to
Let
it.
me
That
ask
makes
you
it all the better.
logistically, Dave. I've worked in game operations. Logistically, we need a laugh here. Let me get your plan of how you would clear 90,000 to 100,000 people out of a stadium and then get back in a half hour in between the games.
Yeah, that made it.
Can you tell me
after
through that?
thinking, that was probably a dumb. Don't they do that for the Big Ten tournament though? They have 2 sessions, right? So they do.
Yeah, but you get at 12 o'clock, you get the 12 and 2, and at night
yeah.
you get the 7 and 9.
No, I get you. Yeah, bad question. That's why I prefaced it.
Final Four is fucking awesome. I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
The only knock I can give you is I think it's one of the all-time, if you have good seats, this is the best thing ever, and you can sit a mile.
And sit in Guam.
Stadium's heard it.
Guam.
Stadium's heard it now.
Yeah, imagine being at Lucas Oil. That probably holds
Quite literally
95.
what it is.
Yeah. And
Well,
you're in the
even-
worst seat. You need. What is this? A stadium for ants? It looked
Even
like there were
the
ants in
last
seat.
row of the United Center, which is a pretty cavernous, it makes basketball
Sure.
unwatch. Like they do look like ants. Where for hockey, or even if you're in like that top, where our guy Hochberg has his what do you call those boxes way up in the top, like the crow's nest boxes?
Suites.
For hockey, it's not bad. For basketball, it's rough
tough,
up
yeah.
there. Yeah,
And that's a stadium that's a third the size of what we're even talking
right,
about.
exactly.
White Sox Day, back to you.
So I got bucket list things that revolve around sports, but it's not a singular event like the Super Bowl.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
Should I even bring it up, or is it going to cause a whole snafu?
bring it up and we'll see if it's allowed.
So this I didn't think it'd be drafted, but one day I want to get an RV and just follow the White Sox and hit all 30 stadiums. That's a bucket list sports thing I'd like to do. But you guys are looking for like more
Events, yeah, like the text was.
You want to
events.
travel to watch that team? In an RV?
well, we're talking new owners now, so this is like assuming that happens.
Frank tried to do this and didn't get very far. I think he
But this
yeah.
one, this is like something that I can see myself doing in my retirement.
You're saying like sports bucket list, go to every stadium.
I specifically want to just do it in an RV. Just take my time, take an entire summer to do.
I mean, you could explain how you want to do it. I think you can pick sports bucket list to see every MLB stadium.
I actually think
in
that's
an
fair.
RV.
I think he could take that. I vote yes on that.
You could tell the people you want it to be in an RV, but like
I agree. I think I think you can pick. I think that's a fair event. Is MLB Stadium Tour.
I'm fine with it too.
Yeah, it's good.
I think I've seen like
That's the only
10 or
sport you'd want
12.
to do that for too.
The only
Great
one.
point. Yeah, the other ones
It'd be
wouldn't
kinda-
even be
it w-
enticing.
it
I would
would-
turn them down. Like, do you want to go to every NBA game? Absolutely not.
no. You've seen
no.
one stadium. You've
Rather
seen
be
them
on
all
fire,
for the
yeah.
most part.
Good pick.
Yeah.
I want to do something basketball related in all 50 states.
Or something. Yeah.
That-
Everybody could have their own iteration of it, but like one day, I don't know. I don't care if I'm 60. I want to get in a beautiful RV and just travel the country, hit every park.
Have you ever had season tickets?
I did until this year.
I've always wanted to, and maybe you've done this. I think it'd be so cool to not miss for a season. I've never lived like, because I'm from Columbus, not Cleveland.
Right.
So
So
I've like, it's a thing to go to an Indians game. It's like, hey, you might go to 2 games in a row. That's huge. I think it'd be so cool to have season tickets, and that's your team for the year.
162 games.
Well, 81.
81.
The 108 guys hit like 70, 75. I don't think you know them yet. You probably will eventually. But I think when I was on a 41 game plan, so half season. I think I probably hit, and a lot of times I wasn't even using my own tickets, probably 30, 35.
I'm going to put the challenge out
year.
there. I kind of think it's impossible to hit all 81. If you
Well-
have a life, and you have friends, you're navigating a lot of graduation parties,
Yeah.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, weddings. You're graduation parties already. You're navigating a lot of that in the
Well,
summer.
you never met right field Willie, big Oakland A's fan.
Does he have a life? That's a question I would ask. But yeah.
The only time he misses A's games is to go to the San Jose Barracudas game, which is a
Minor league hockey.
local minor league hockey team.
Yeah.
So the reason I come up with it, like, have you guys seen the movie Fever Pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think if you, like, he don't miss games.
he don't miss games.
I think that'd be quite the summer.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah, you can't make all of them.
Yeah, like if you're one of those
What
guys,
if your
who-
team's good, though?
it's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool. I think it's a great pick.
good pick.
Chief, you're up.
George is making a ruckus here in the background. I'll take the Stanley Cup Final. I've been to it, obviously. Been to many, actually.
Really?
It's awesome. So would love to be able to do that again. I actually think it would be great as a neutral even too. But when your team's in it and that big game feeling, I miss that big game feeling so much. Getting a taste of it in Boston has just made me like all the more angry about Chicago sports. But yeah, I'll take the Stanley Cup Final.
So a lot of you started talking about it perfectly, Chief. A lot of these I would have a bad time at if my teams weren't playing because of the amount of joy people around me would be experiencing. And I can't be amidst joy if I'm in the moment miserable. And I'm miserable, so I don't want to be around people who just won a Super Bowl. Fuck you guys. Like, I've been avoiding everybody from Philadelphia for the last few weeks.
Really?
Fuck them.
Unless it's my rival, I think going to a neutral game would be sweet.
Yeah, I agree. Unless if it's your rival.
I almost, Chief, I would double down even further. If I'm going to a lot of these things, I would the in-person sporting event has become so tough with commercials and waiting around everything that I'd rather watch the Browns play on TV by myself and then go watch a huge game where I'm neutral. If that,
For sure, because, I mean,
maybe.
it goes into my next pick, but whatever.
Shit.
I think Stanley Cup Finals
sniping
good pick, by the way. Like, also
Yeah,
the
Stanley Cup Finals are good. Again, I said it a bunch of times. I've been to Ranger playoff games. Got tickets through my wife's boss, and hockey does not translate to TV like it should. The speed, the cold wakes you up. Everybody's fucking on edge, and then forget it. It went into overtime, and then forget it. Like you can't look down for a second because the game's gonna end. That's how it is.
Yeah.
With the hockey game the other night, it was like you look down and you're like, oh shit, I might miss this. So like
Right.
lock in.
You can't, and it's one of those things where it's the same thing with soccer too. But it's like every goal feels so big because you don't know if it's the last one. So and that, speaking of Rangers playoff games, Eddie and I and Tom Lay, I feel like somebody else went to Penguins Rangers Game 7 a few years ago in MSG. Obviously, I'm a neutral. The Rangers won Game 7 in overtime. it was impossible not to get like swept up in that.
It was awesome.
The energy was unbelievable. So there's just nothing like OT playoff hockey.
The pageantry on the ice afterwards too of a Stanley Cup Final. It's awesome. I'm gonna go with the championship Sunday, AFC or NFC championship.
Okay.
I really regret not going to that Bears Saints game. By all accounts, it was fucking awesome. It was at Soldier Field.
In 05?
Yeah.
What was your reason for not going?
I was 15.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't have tickets.
I didn't know if it was like you had to stream.
No, it wasn't like, no, it wasn't. It's just, I didn't have money to, like, it's not really your call. But, like, yeah, from all account, like, the Super Bowl was in Miami that year, so it was just a bunch of fat Bears fans, like, singing Will Smith's Miami after. Like, that's just amazing, you know? That's just amazing.
Something about clinching to get there, that's a big deal, too, you know?
For sure. And even, like, and even going as a neutral, like, take your team out of it, that's good. That's sweet. You have a weird resentment towards everyone, it sounds. But like Chief said, we got swept away in that game.
Hey, I don't resent him and his Browns fandom because he's also a loser and he'll never experience joy. I actually empathize and I get along with him well because of that. It's when teams and fans are experiencing success, I hate them.
Okay. Fair. But to go to like a Browns fucking Bills AFC championship, that'd be sick. Even as a neutral.
I've always said if the Browns make a championship or host in Cleveland, there's not a dollar amount I wouldn't pay to go there, and then I'll watch the Super Bowl on TV.
I think if it was Browns Bills, I would almost feel guilty being there.
Because you don't deserve it.
Because you're taking away a seat from someone. I get that.
It can't be a neutral at a game.
No,
I get that.
Bears fans, we're
on the same page that the Bills are light years ahead of the Browns, right?
They haven't won.
What are we talking about?
Well, they have.
But I mean, they've had a great run with Josh Allen, but before that, they were just as pathetic as you with 4 Super Bowl losses. You guys had your '80s run where you lost all the AFC championships, but
I think you draft Cam Ward, you got a shot this year.
What'd you say?
I'm kidding. I was just saying. I think if you draft Cam Ward, you got a shot this year.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So championship Sunday.
I think more people should have championship Sunday parties as well. Like if you're football diehards and you know your team, even if your team's not in it, like you think it goes back to the Final Four argument. You get two games on a Sunday. You know, like if you're going to somebody's house. Super Bowl parties have become. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't watch the Super Bowl or aren't there for the Super Bowl. If that makes sense.
Rico, do you know do they clear the stands for that one or no?
What do you mean?
There's 2 games you said.
Oh yeah, but they're different sites.
I'm fucking around.
Yeah, they're different sites.
No, you're right though.
But if you just love bowl, I think being at your buddy's house for the conference championship Sunday
like that idea, Rico.
Might be more appealing than the Super Bowl parties.
Yeah. Tate.
Good idea.
All right. This is probably where I lose the draft, but I don't give a fuck. I'm going off my bucket list. This is shit I would really want to do. And the first one, I think this will be where my bachelor party would be, and that's going to be an LSU night game. I want to go to Alabama.
Oh, why? That's a great one.
I just feel I want to go to whoever the best team is. Right now, I would say Alabama at LSU because that's huge. But if Auburn's the best team in the SEC, whatever, going to LSU, night kick, tailgate all day, down in the bayou, that's what I want to do.
Great. I think that's an awesome pick.
Thank you,
Good
Chief.
pick. Everything I've heard about is
No, I like it. It's top 5 on my personal bucket list now that I haven't been to. But
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
Megan did a shoot for Fireball, and she last second someone had to cancel, and she needed someone to go, and asked me, and it was the day of the Ohio State Michigan game. So instead, I spent $1,000 to watch Ohio State lose to Michigan.
Tough.
Yeah,
tough. You're up again. I like it.
All right. This one,
but you can't come back from that if you miss Ohio State, Michigan, and LSU.
No doubt. No, I just hope there's another opportunity because that would be awesome. All right, this one, I think I get the whole thing. I think I get the whole experience here. Tell me if I don't.
Shit.
The Maui Invitational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Dave's getting in his RV, then you get to be on the beach.
I didn't think anybody else was going to take this.
I mean, it
was on my list, but
this year
I wouldn't
watch a middle school gym, pretty much.
And then go sit on the beach.
Yeah. No.
So from what I've heard, they do clear the stadium in between games.
Well, this stadium's what, 300 people?
Yeah, exactly. I do think they have a 12 o'clock game, and then they clear it each time. So you would get the full session. Yeah, if I was rich and hit the lotto, I'd be down there for Thanksgiving 100%.
This is one of those things where I know how much Rico would enjoy this. I know how much he wants to go, but he will never go in his life for the sole fact that I don't think Dave will ever let you hear the end of it if you go to the Maui Invitational.
I actually I met a kid at a Final Four. He texts me all the time, like, "Hey, you want to come? You want to?" I think, yeah. I mean, it's tough. I do think you. I'd love to go.
We were in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
That picture would live forever.
Rico,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you paid your own way. It doesn't matter if the company sold like a $30 million ad deal. He would never let you die. He was fucking gallivanting in fucking Hawaii. He was never
gallivanting at the Maui.
Yeah, he would never let you.
I'm not kidding. I think my high school gym is just as big as this place. As
Yeah,
Chaminade
most
Gym.
places are, but again,
that's
it's the exclusivity.
Right.
Like, you get to go to Hawaii. It's also, you get to go to Hawaii during Thanksgiving. Like, it's fucking sick.
I'm not trash talking it based on its size. I think that makes it all the cooler. It's literally the size of my high school gym. They got to pull out bleachers from the wall.
I like the pick, but obviously.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not going there for the sports as much. You're like, oh shit, I'm on a beach right now.
Well, like this year's field was incredible. It was like the most loaded field it's been in forever. Next year
sucks.
Yeah, it's Boise State, North Carolina State, Seton Hall, Washington State. But end of the day, I'm drinking beer on the beach, going to a basketball game, drinking beer on
Why
the
don't
beach.
you just go to like a UCF game or something?
Wait for my fifth pick.
All right, to me.
Can I don't know if I love this pick.
Oh.
I think if I'm flying all the way to Hawaii, I don't want to
NC
waste
State
time
versus-
watching meaningless.
You're probably
college
missing the
basketball.
game, aren't you? You're not even
Yeah,
going.
I don't give a fuck about those games. Give me another.
Yeah,
cocktail
you
and
really
sit on the beach.
need to be a nitty gritty guy for
Yeah,
basketball to do this.
yeah. Which more power to you.
Oh, Chief,
thanks.
I agree with you, Chief, but also you tell me you can't wear flip-flops, throw on a Hawaiian shirt, and drink a cocktail as you're walking into the UConn-Michigan State game. You wouldn't do that?
I think if I were there for 10 days at the same time, I might go to one game.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's
That
go.
hurts.
You know,
Cut that.
but overall, if I'm in Hawaii, I'm doing Hawaii.
It's a fair con. It's a fair,
I
it's a
agree.
fair con.
I agree.
It's to me. It kind of got a little shattered here. It kind of got a little softened because White Sox Dave's pick, and it's a homer pick, but I'm still taking a Cubs game. Like,
I don't think it is really.
there's Wrigley's awesome, and it's Clark Street. It's everything, all encompassing. Like, everyone should do it at least once.
You're talking, yeah. I think it's hard. Could you make it a Cubs playoff game, or are you just saying any generic?
I think Cubs game. I think every sports fan should have a Cubs game on their bucket list.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
And
That's
most do.
Yeah, most do.
Yeah.
Most do.
Seeing Wrigley, most do, I'd say.
fair. I've been to
Is that Homer?
15
No.
No, it is, but like I went to 15 or so games the last couple of years each, and it doesn't lose its luster for me. Like, I still love Wrigley Field every time I step in.
Yeah, you got options if you just want to go to the game. Sure, if you want to fucking tie one on it's great.
Yeah.
Did I don't know if I've shared with you that I'm moving literally Saturday. I had so much fun at my first Cubs game last year, and I think it was like the perfect game. They won and they flew the flag and it was great weather and everyone's singing. I had so much fun that I'm literally moving to Wrigley on Saturday. Like, I want to spend.
You're gonna be neighbors with me.
Are you in Wrigley?
Yeah, I'm like a 10-minute walk or so from Wrigley Field.
I'm gonna send you, Dave. Look, that's my front porch.
Is it Homer or not, Rico?
He's in Wrigley.
No, it's
all right.
it's on the list. It'll
text
get.
you, Chief.
I hope my next pick gets there because it's very similar. But yeah, I think when you're making a list of stadiums, this is the one to go to for baseball. I was lucky enough. I actually didn't get hammered too bad because the Red Sox weren't terrible. But had a wedding and went up a night earlier than the rehearsal dinner so we could go to a game at Fenway. I'd never been to Fenway, and bought the standing room only on top of the Monster,
Oh, that's cool.
which was a cool experience. We didn't get there early enough to be like right up against it, so you're kind of walking around, and then a buddy of mine was at the game. We sat down the third baseline, which I was happy to do as well. Like, you did get to sit in the stadium. It would have sucked if we were just on the Monster, but to get both in the same game was pretty cool. You're standing on top of the Monster. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
That's awesome.
maybe not a once in a lifetime experience, but if you're going once, it's like
done it.
you do that, you know.
Chief, you're up.
I want to go soccer. I've never been to Italy. I know this is where my draft sinks, but it pops up on my TikTok all the time. AC Milan, which is where Christian Pulisic plays now. The whole office stopped when Zlatan Ibrahimovic came in. He had some of his best years in Milan. That place, they just sing this song pregame. They have this insane, like, they have insane fans. They call them ultras in Italy, but they're basically like mafia guys. They run the show. They're lighting flares. They got smoke bombs. They got a light show with the stadium. They're singing about it. They have their pregame song is about Juventus, and like the main line of the song is like, "You're a pig from Juventus," which I fucking love. Like, so they're just super into it, and I'm looking for atmospheres and unique experiences. I'd love to go to San Siro, AC Milan,
AC Milan game.
and we'll just move it along.
I was gonna say,
Hey, Ed.
What?
I'll let you handle this one.
I was just gonna say, you're up, Dave.
the way he speaks about it with that passion, like if I cared about it, I'm sure that'd be the greatest thing.
I'll create a group chat here and send you a video of what I'm talking about pregame.
Yeah, there's no doubt that they're good soccer picks. It's just a lot of guys you have a hard time selling people on soccer. So
Totally.
that's where it's at.
I get it.
With
Now,
that said,
what's the difference between going to, you said AC Milan versus who?
I would say Inter, which is the other team in Milan. So it's like it's their biggest rivalry.
Okay, what's the difference between that specific rivalry and like, give me two Premier League teams? I'm blanking.
Brother, I don't know those teams.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Arsenal and
Manchester United, bro.
Manchester United and Liverpool. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, that would be in the ballpark as well. But because England had some like tragic events where people died in stadiums and they had like a huge hooligan culture, they really cracked down on things where that didn't really happen across Europe as much. Like the European, like on the continent, is wilder than in England.
And listen, all jokes aside, I could get around a big Premier League game. Like, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, no, they're going, and I'm going in April. I'm probably going to go again in May. I went last year. I went to a game, the Forest promotion game in 2022. It's awesome. It is similar to what I was talking about on the stretch, where everybody's locked into the hockey at all times. Like, you don't take your eyes off the ice. There's no commercials, Rico. Everybody's focused. No one's like, there's no like crowd watching or people watching. Like, everybody's locked in. Everybody's singing the same songs. It is a way, way different experience and a better fan experience than anything we have here.
Yep. Dave.
I don't know how I'm going to compete with the AC Milan game.
You're just an ignorant Juve pig, Dave.
Fine. I like that. I'm going to go with...
Do it.
I'm just going to go with Fenway Park for the same reasons Ed said Wrigley. I got to check it off for the first time in pandemic fucks me up. It was either 2019 or 2021 with Dante. White Sox versus Red Sox, so I got to do that too. Being able to go to Wrigley kind of took I thought it would take the luster away. Fenway Park was it. I had my expectations. It blew them out of the water. And Ballpark Village there is awesome. I loved Fenway Park. Favorite stadium I've ever been to in Major League Baseball.
I'm going in June for the first time. Just for that.
Awesome.
Never been.
It is good.
Awesome.
It's very good. It's a good ballpark.
It's like
Better than Wrigley. Wrigley was so much fun.
I have the
Haven't been to
innate
Wrigley.
hatred for Wrigley,
Yeah,
and I've been going
Wrigley.
my entire life.
I just think, like, obviously biased, Homer, but like I just think all-encompassing Wrigley's better because
I agree.
because it has
Fenway is awesome. I think
Yeah.
these are the only two stadiums that qualify for the bucket list.
Maybe Dodger Stadium, but fuck LA.
Eh,
I heard it's a complete asshole to get there and everything.
oh,
Yeah.
so hard. But yeah, it's everything around it is what breaks the tie, so to speak. But Fenway's great.
See, the neighborhood around Fenway's awesome though. Like
yeah,
I
they've
didn't realize
built that up in the last 25 years.
Sure.
So,
Well, I mean, same with Wrigley though. In the '80s, Wrigley was
Wrigley
just
was
nothing.
always scummy though, in bars and
when our dads were my dad grew up in the city. He would take the red line from the south side out to the north side, and he's like, you don't understand. Wrigley used to be like a shithole, nothing neighborhood.
Yeah, but for at least
Our
30
entire
plus
lives had
years.
changed.
Yeah, so that's a long time.
Yeah.
Rico.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna fit the bill with what you guys were saying of like stadiums and checking them off. I don't think I'll ever go to an NFL game again. I think the TV experience has changed it, where it is better on TV. Even if your team's in a playoff game, like you could sell me on that. But regular season games, and especially the industry we're in, where like you're doing a gambling show every day or a sports talk show, like you kind of got to see the whole league.
Yeah.
But if somebody was like, "Hey, you want to go?" or you have a lot of money and you're like, I'll check this off, I'm going to Lambeau. I know it's going to hurt you guys as like Bears fans.
It's not.
But I think the one stadium of like, where have you been? You know, I think a lot of people would say Lambeau 1-1 in the NFL. So that's where I'm going.
Rico, it's not hard to say Lambeau's awesome.
It blows.
Yeah.
We Bears fans, there's not a bad thing you can say about Lambeau Field.
It's a
fucking
very,
incredible.
very valid pick, Rico. It makes all other NFL games I've gone to stadium-wise.
It's a perfect football stadium.
It's a shame.
It's perfect.
You should
And
go.
I've been there. I've probably been there 4 times now. I've been there in the cold. I've been there for week 1. It's great every time.
It's just so cool how there's literally houses you could throw a baseball at the stadium. It's so cool.
I need to check it out. I agree with Rico. I have zero interest in going to an NFL. I'd rather
Stadiums don't have character unless it's baseball, though.
I'm
100%.
surprised. I'm surprised that ticket sales still do so well, and there's so many season ticket holders across the NFL. The way the game has moved, the quality of TVs,
I agree.
like, and how much more people want to be invested in fantasy and like watching guys. I really am amazed that every stadium is sold out on Sundays. Amazed.
I'd rather
Maybe they're
tailgate
not
than
all
go
sold
watch
out,
it.
but for the most part, they're sold out.
I think they're mostly sold out.
You only
but I
have
think it's the
8 or
tailgate
9 regular
experience, too.
season.
Yeah, it's the tailgate experience, but yeah.
Yeah. I hate red zone warriors. Don't get me wrong. Like, I really do. Like, watch your fucking team.
I hate red zone.
Like, I hate.
I'll
like,
throw it on
I
the second TV.
I have friends who I'm disgusted with. I'm like, I'm not watching the game with you. I want to watch the fucking Bears.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck about.
No.
But when those 5-minute commercials hits during the Bears game, that's when you get to get food, look around, take a piss, drink a beer. It's great on TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck the red zone.
Yeah, red zone warriors suck. But like, I agree, Rico. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right. Is it me again?
Yes.
Shit. All right, maybe this one's out of jealousy because I was playing college football when my brother went for his birthday with my dad and my grandpa, and I couldn't go. But I'm going to take a game at Notre Dame as well. Touchdown Jesus in the background, the tight bleachers, room for you're sitting 6 guys in a spot that's supposed to fit 4. You go to the linebacker lounge a couple hours before, and they're playing the fight song every 15 minutes. You get to see the oh god, my dad and grandpa are gonna get mad forgetting the name. Chief's gonna have to help me out here. What are the guys? You have to be 6'6". They wear the kilts. Is it not color guard?
The honor guard. The honor guard.
Yeah, I think so. But they're the Notre Dame guys. The Notre Dame specific.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Once you see a picture of it, you'll definitely know.
It's
I
the
know
Irish
what you're talking
guard.
about. I had never heard that they had to be 6'6".
I think they have to be tall. Maybe they don't have to be 6'6", but they have to be tall.
Notre Dame game's cool.
Honor guard. I'm taking that.
I would recommend
Irish,
going.
Irish guard. He's a marching band. Yeah, Irish guard.
I'd recommend going early fall. Your team scores as time expires because the other team only has 10 men on the field. That's when I went to a Notre Dame game.
You know, I was just about to close because I got a meeting to go to at 1:30. You know, that was unnecessary.
That's when I would go.
Yeah, you know, that was an unnecessary shot.
I'm sorry.
So we're right. We're not. Look at you guys are the king of the mountain.
You're there.
You need Notre Dame to play with one less guy to be able to beat them that time, and you needed a few other things to go your way this time. The greatest money, their greatest roster money could buy. So.
I will say though, they need natural grass back.
1000% agree. That was a Brian Kelly fuck up. I want that grass. I remember when they would play USC when USC was loaded.
Let it grow.
Let it grow.
That
yeah.
grass would be like
Yeah.
cow
What a
pasture.
story.
Yeah.
It wasn't 6'6", it's 6 feet. In 2014, Notre Dame band director Kenneth
Tightest.
Dye instituted a policy that limited Irish Guard membership to students who had previously served for at least 1 year in the marching band as an instrumentalist manager. The requirement that guardsmen stand at least 6 feet tall was eliminated, so it was 6 feet tall.
That's
not 6'6".
6'6" is a monster. I was like, holy shit.
It's weird the things we never forget. My dad told me that one time when I was probably fucking 9, and you never forget it.
I hear you on that, Rico.
My high school coach took us there our junior year, and it was still natural grass then. And they didn't let us on the field, but we were able to like stand on the track outside, and just the beauty of the natural grass. And then when I finally went back for the game against Texas, I was like, I just missed the grass, the natural grass. I got to bring it back. Dave, you're up. I don't know where Chief went.
He said he's
I think
got
Chief
a,
had a meeting.
he's gonna-
Is he done with his draft?
He's gonna forfeit. No, he's not done at all. He's gonna forfeit his 5th round.
I'm
pick.
so baseball heavy,
What
but
a scum.
I was gonna say there's a couple baseball things. There's 4 great things.
yeah, I know. Do I want to take them?
I'm taking one.
I'm going to Cooperstown. Got to go to Cooperstown.
I said there's 4 great ones.
I'm going to Cooperstown.
That's not what you want.
Every diehard baseball fan dreams of going to Cooperstown one day, especially if you played there when you were 12.
I went to Cooperstown and it was under construction, so we didn't get the full experience.
That's fucked up, Rico. That's fucked up. You see Doubleday Field, tore the hall. You get to view all your favorite plaques. It's absolutely every baseball fan. Like, I'm talking me-type baseball fan, my previously me-type baseball fan, where you have to go to Cooperstown.
I just didn't see that coming. I love your draft because
I have like
think-
more specific ones, but someone will bitch about them. So
well, I can't wait till the end because I think there's 4 things that like I love that you're a baseball guy. I think your 2, 3, and 4 picks have been like they're on mine. I want to do that too. There's 4 things that I would like die to go to, and I don't give a fuck about Cooperstown. So I'm interested to hear what you think.
Cooperstown would be cool. I wouldn't draft it, but I would like to go. I've been to Canton. It was cool, but
Cooperstown, this could be the baseball fan in me talking. I feel like it has like a larger than life aura more so than Canton or I don't know, where is the NBA Hall of Fame?
Probably, I think it's
Springfield,
it's
Mass.
just the basketball Hall of Fame.
the basketball.
Springfield, Mass.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't. Oh, he's off to Springfield one day. You hear that about Cooperstown, like oh, he's on his.
You're right.
Cooperstown.
You're right.
You
Of
know?
the 3, I would say Cooperstown like carries the name, but I don't know.
Cooperstown. Chief said he texted me he's picking the hockey gold medal game.
That I was down to those two. That
So you don't
TJ.
so just for the record, you don't campaign against anybody publicly, but Chief has 2 hockey picks and 2 soccer picks. I want that noted.
And a horse race. What the fuck?
That cost $20 to get into, and he's watching with all the rich assholes, not the people.
All right, who's next?
I don't know if I'd care that much though if it wasn't like
USA.
yeah.
I think if it was USA, it would go 1-1.
Absolutely.
Gold
Yeah.
medal game
That
USA
TJ Ocean
1-1.
game was the most fun I've ever had watching
Agreed.
sports. I think.
Sweden versus Canada. I don't give up.
Would you agree? Would you want to go to Sweden versus?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's like all of these, or I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of these picks are so contingent if my team's playing. Like, if you say, hey, here's a plane ticket, fly out to Phoenix for the Super Bowl, and you go for free, I'd be like, oh, sure. If I have to consider buying a plane ticket, that's when I'm like, I'd rather just watch it on my couch with a pizza in front of my face. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, I'm up. Listen, I'm between 2, but I can't let this go by again. I know we hate on the NBA, but like the NBA Finals is.
I couldn't care less about the NBA Finals.
My dad went to one of the Jordan ones, and like
Oh, jeez.
I remember being like, "That's so fucking cool."
It's a nostalgia. It's a great pick if you can say that. This year, if the Thunder play the,
And he went to a clinching one too, so confetti was falling down. Like that's
Huge.
awesome. Yeah.
if like the Thunder end up playing, which it's probably going to be the Celtics, Cavs, or Knicks, but if it's Celtics at Oklahoma City and you're like, I have tickets,
Sure.
I don't give a
You're for sure. You're,
you're
but
right. That was a
here's
pick.
the-
That was a nitpick.
you're presenting.
Tate,
a,
here's the thing, though. Your point is right to point out to say like, oh, I just went to an NBA Finals game. It was the Nuggets against the Celtics or whatever. Fuck, two examples.
Say it's Bucks Nuggets. Fuck that.
But I think it's like the chicken and the egg here. People are going to read that list and go NBA Finals, and they're going to go, wow, it would be awesome to go when the Bulls are in it or the Knicks. Like, you can't separate. Just reading that list, your natural inclination is to assume, yeah, of course you're only going when your team goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So-
nitpicked.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's fair.
Because the
Yeah, like, that's
finals
where-
is,
yeah.
is cool. The finals.
Yeah.
That's where some picks with personal like things. I actually didn't take any that involve a team. Well, except the Packers, but and Notre Dame, I guess. But I think some of the when it's affiliated with a team is going to hold more weight. You know.
And I know we said earlier, yes, of course, baseball would be my number one choice to go to a game live. But if this NBA Finals game comes down to the last possession, that's fucking drama theatrics.
Yeah, it's
and that's-
awesome.
Anyone with a pulse loves that. Even White Sox Dave. And the Larry O'Brien is still hot as fuck, for the record. It's a good-looking trophy.
It is a great looking trophy. I kind of started saying this earlier. Like, I'd want it to be in a stadium where I'm like, that's a mecca. I have to get there before I die, and not one basketball stadium, including Madison Square Garden, which I've been to. They're all.
Oh, Madison Square Garden's cool.
But
I've never been.
but
I have that
every
written. I don't think
every
anyone's going to take it. A Knicks game at fucking MSG or a game at MSG holds weight.
For sure.
you're saying that because you're from New York.
You went to a UFC fight, though.
The Garden, bro, the thing that no one gets, and they've only done it at the Staples Center, to my knowledge, no one darkens the arena and then lights it.
They
like
do
it's
that at the
fucking
United
Broadway.
Center, Ed.
All right,
or
then
Rico.
they've come around. I don't think when I was at the United Center, Eddie, remember that? Oh, it was a college game, I guess. But the Knicks are different because they light it like a Broadway stage.
Yep.
They do this. It's just I don't know, something about it.
But my point is that like Fenway Park, you have the Green Monster. It's 30 feet high. You got Wrigley Field with the ivy. You got
I get it. It's
the hill. In
structurally,
Houston.
yes.
Like every baseball field has its own unique set of standards, and a basketball arena is going to be a basketball arena. It's going to be 53 feet wide by 90. What is it? 4 feet long.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a dome circle with seats around it.
And you're still going to see the athletes in America who are the most recognizable playing for a world title.
Yeah, sure, but like unless it's the Bulls, I don't give a shit to go to Madison Square Garden ever again, or the Staples Center.
So you're telling me, LeBron James, the Lakers, they play the Celtics this year. You wouldn't want to go to that game? Because that's the opposite end of Tate's example.
Yeah, I've said it a million times.
He's also a basketball fan.
Yeah, but if you take LeBron to the Garden or Lakers Celtics, if you can pick Game 7, and I really want, it's tough to compete with a hand-picked situation.
For sure. But I'm just saying, for as bad as of an example there is, there's also
There's a good one.
an unbelievable example.
I was lucky enough to see LeBron and Kobe at the Knicks when I was working there.
Yeah, that's cool.
I would love to go to. I fucked him up.
LeBron was the 55-point game.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Tate, Mr. Irrelevant.
All right, I've got 4 baseball things that we'll talk about that I fucking love baseball, and in-person baseball is the best. I'm going to choose the one that I have already been to, because I think that if I hadn't been to it, it would absolutely be on my list. I think the Home Run Derby is, and I've been to the one I was at was 2018 in Washington D.C. when Bryce Harper won it.
That's awesome.
So
I've been to one too.
it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I went to the one at Sox Park. It's definitely one of my greatest sports memories. I was the perfect age. I think it was 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 01, yeah.
Garrett-
Or 03? 01 or 03?
I think it was 01. Well, it may have been 03. I don't know.
03.
Regardless, it was early 2000s. It was awesome, dude.
It was 03, I think.
And that's when the Home Run Derby was the
Right,
best.
yeah, with Boomer and everything. Now, while I do like the pick for Mr. Irrelevant and everything, I think that gets worse with age. It's a kid's thing, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I'm upset that I didn't make it to that Home Run Derby at Sox Park. If I ever walked the plank of having children, I think that'd be something great to take my son to when he's like 12 years old.
And that was
Agreed.
perfect.
Yeah.
Agreed. One of my biggest sports regrets is I did the classic. I think I was 24 at the time, first time in DC. I drank all day, and I like Bryce Harper wins that with his dad pitching 19-18 over Kyle Schwarber on like a walk-off home run. I was too drunk. You know, has that ever happened to you guys where it's like, man, I wish I would have kind of stayed more sober for the sporting event. I had too much fun before.
If I
No,
saw,
I'm actually the opposite. I've kind of always been so like big game, big event, be sober. I might be a little bit of a square, but the people who like are like, I'm like, oh my God, you went to, I remember the Giants-Panthers game was a big one to get into the playoffs. The Sunday night game. I was like, you went to that? How was it? I kind of blacked out. Like, well, okay, then why pay for the fucking ticket? You're there to watch the game.
You're right.
Like,
black out afterwards.
You're so right. I paid $1,000 to go to that fucking
it's
home run
not
derby
being a
and get
square. Like,
blacked
I've
out.
definitely had my days of fucking dancing and romancing and putting them back, but it's like, bro, you're there to go to a game, like lock in.
Yep.
You know? I don't know. That's where I'm at.
You're right.
I'm
You're
with
right.
you. I like the pick. It was 2003. You're right. I was 12 years old. It was perfect.
Who was in it?
Garrett Anderson won it.
I just like
Bobby Abreu had a nice day too.
and like there was a time the golden age where like the big dogs did it, like Griffey did.
Yeah.
It.
That backwards hat, that's burned into my memory
Iconic,
as a child.
iconic.
At Fenway Park, him and Sosa at you can look this up, Ed. This is how
There was a time-
my
there was a-
memory used to work. I'm pretty sure Sosa in Atlanta at Turner Field hit one, the farthest home run of that home run derby was 508 feet by Sammy Sosa, if you can look that up. Like, I used to follow sports,
I know he hit a bomb in fucking Milwaukee too.
or was it Milwaukee I'm thinking of? I don't know.
One of those.
But I remember 508 feet, and 500 was the threshold. If you hit 500 or more, that is like the farthest home run ever. But like
There was
Mark
a time where it
McGwire,
wasn't even live.
Griffey.
It wasn't even live. They used to film it during the day, and then they would announce the results on WFAN. And my dad would come home and be like, "You guys want to watch the Derby? All right, let's have a pool." And we could pick Griffey, we'd pick somebody else, and he'd pick the guy who won because he knew it was like a random ass guy. He'd be like, "Dad, you get fucking this guy again?" I'd be like,
Now,
Pool holes. Sorry.
what were your other baseballs?
So I would say that
Honorable mentions?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say I personally would love to go spend a week at the College World Series. I think the MLB All-Star Game in its heyday is the one where you get, Bonds coming out there and Poole, whoever it may be. And then also, I don't think it'd be on my like biggest events, but my bucket list would include right now going down to Scottsdale, Arizona, and spending a spring training in great weather, seeing who's coming up to the big leagues this year, like watching like the prospects, having fun, warm weather in the middle of February, best time to be in.
I had spring training on my
So-
board. I think that's
Did you?
fine. Yeah.
So I just like, I like
I didn't even
baseball.
think of that because we do it every year. Back in a previous life, my old company we had an office in Scottsdale. So I hit up my boss. I'm like, what do I got to do to work out of our Scottsdale office for? Like, he's like, we're not paying for shit. You can go out there. You got to hit these 3 sales goals by the end of the month. So I hit them. They're like, off you go. You can stay out there as long as you please. So one of my good friends, he's now a major league ump. You have to, at the time, he was only an A-ball ump. You have to work your way up. I lived with him for 6 weeks, and I didn't know anybody out there aside from him. He was working, doing his baseball. I went and saw every out and hotbed for high school talent. I was going to high school games, followed by backfield A-ball games with like players with number 68 through 100. It was heaven. All I did was just
sounds
watch
great.
baseball for every day. I'd get off at 4 p.m. I would just watch baseball the rest of the night.
It's the best.
It was
That'd be
awesome.
the best.
Any more, Tate?
No, are you talking honorable mentions
Yeah,
here?
I
The only thing I would say, I would just add in 2 things. One, anyone that has a draft in NFL NBA, fuck that. That sounds awful to me. I would never go.
People
That
wanted
sounds
when the
like
draft
hell.
was here for NFL in Central
I
or
could not give a fuck less.
Millennium Park. I was like, I do not want to go down there. You're fucking nuts.
And then the other thing, everyone keeps saying every time, oh, it used to be better. I'm looking at this list of the 20 things we drafted, 25 things we drafted. Sports used to be so much better.
They
Like
did.
every single thing we've said is like, man, it was better back when.
Yeah.
Now,
Even like the dunk contest, it's on my list, but also fuck that now. The dunk contest used to be better.
Yeah. Rico, what's your honorable mentions?
Olympics,
Okay. Summer or winter? Or
college
both?
football, national championship game. I do think like there's something about going to championship games. I really wanted to draft this, and like I think people have made fun of me when I made this comment before. A big Friday night Texas high school football game.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm in.
But,
Totally.
I kind of wish I draft that. The U.S. Open on the Sunday of Father's Day. with your dad. I think would be fucking awesome.
Good one.
We wrote down Knicks at MSG. I think just holds weight. Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup, I thought you'd take. The Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I know. But it's in the middle of college football season. And then if you're getting in the real nitty-gritty, conference championship week, there's an argument you can make that conference championship week is better than the first 4 days of the NCAA tournament, because you get more games and like more kind of chaos happens, and especially if it's a dud of a first weekend. But the Big East tournament holds weight, and I think it's one of those you don't need to know the schools. But even they said, the conference is dead. The conference is still, it's not a great year this year, but it still holds weight. And you got the Providence people going at the Georgetown people, and the UConn people going at the St. John's people, and it's like, it's still great. I got a buddy who every year, like, he'll fall into a ticket. It's a little harder to go now, but the Big East tournament for when it was in its heyday was like having fucking lottery
St.
tickets.
John's was in here last week when they were in town playing.
Yeah, I know they're gonna fuck me. Like, I've shit on them, and there people taking the old takes. And
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. You got any
just
left?
mark
I
it
got
down. It's gonna be
a
it's gonna be
shit ton
Alabama and
left.
St. John's in a meaningful Sweet 16 or Elite Eight.
Hey,
game.
that'd be
It's gonna
great for you. That'd be great for you.
Potentially really bad for me.
You got
We'll
anything
see.
left?
I got a few that we can check off this summer. So the first one that I want to check off summer, surprisingly, I've never done this. Day night doubleheader with Cubs Sox Red Line.
Okay.
We should all do that this summer if you want to come. Obviously, just
love to.
That it only happens a time or two a year where there's a afternoon game and night game.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
like a dream.
For the Cubs and Sox. Going to the Tokyo Dome would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And just doing an Asian, well, not Asian, it'd be Japanese and Korean, not obviously anywhere else, but baseball tour. Running of the urinals at the Preakness. I would, not anymore because I'm old and a pussy, but if in a prior life, Ed, you can attest to this, I would have been the first one in line to run those urinals.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like it was at one time.
On top, right?
Yeah, you run and everybody chucks the beer cans at you, and you might, lose an eye or break your nose.
I'm out.
Yeah, but it's awesome. World's largest cocktail party.
Yep.
I went this year.
Oh, I should have put that down.
A UFC title fight. I think that's the pick over boxing. That playing catch with your dad at the Field of Dreams. I kind of had a chance to do that almost 3.5 years ago now when the Sox played the Yankees there. Tim Anderson walk-off. I didn't because it would have been about $4,500. And that game ended up turning into becoming such a classic that it's one of my biggest sports regrets to this day is not sucking it up and buying a ticket for my dad and I.
Should have went.
I should have went. And here's one that I didn't feel like arguing about, but going to a gladiator fight in like circa 100 BC.
Yeah, I mean,
with
'cause
Emperor
you
Commodus.
can't go. It's literally not possible.
I know. But that'd have been sweet to see a gladiator fight.
See someone
People-
There was a
yeah,
video. There was a
lots of
video
people.
at the world's.
I
world's
like to watch
largest
people
cocktail
die, right,
party
Ed?
True.
called Frat Beach that they cut together, and like I'm pretty sure it was right when Levels came out, and they put Levels to it. It's the fucking best video I've ever seen.
Frat Beach,
like
baby.
it's Frat Beach on YouTube or whatever. I'll send it in the group. It's still to me like just you're instantly transported back to like tailgating with your buddies in college. It's
Yep.
fucking unbelievable.
I went this year with Smokes to the world's largest cocktail party, and it was fun until the guy, 3 people behind me, the video went viral on the news. It was
That's right. That was
like
you.
beat the shit out of the cops, and they
right.
beat the shit. It got like
right.
500 million views.
Yeah.
Too much drinking.
I
I
completely
got a
forgot
couple
that's-
left here. Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I had that.
Where do you want to go to?
I think it's got to be Bama.
It's got to be.
I'm not picky, but I kind of Auburn would be kind of cool too. But Bama's
Rico,
obvious.
how many SEC football stadiums?
Hold on, let me finish.
0. I haven't been to a ton of college football games. That's the thing I regret.
Red River Shootout.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome.
I really think everyone should get to a NASCAR race. Daytona 500 or Talladega specifically.
Good time. It was a good time last week.
Yes.
Did not expect it. It was a good time last week. Did not expect the access to have like and how good it was
Oh,
going
it's
to be.
crazy what they let
It
you
was
do.
good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Coney Island hot dog contest.
That'd be fun.
Only downside is that's on 4th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my last one, and someone just sold me on this because they're coming here November 1st, is an All Blacks rugby game. I heard they're fucking legit.
What's that? What is
It's
that?
Rugby.
right?
It's New Zealand. Yeah.
What does All Blacks mean?
that's the team.
That's
name.
the team name.
The team name.
No, I'm not saying something else, Tate.
It's
It's a rugby game. They're playing Ireland here, and I guess it's going to be fucking
So they came to Soldier Field 15 years ago and played the United States
Yeah.
national team. and I don't know rugby scoring at all, but I'm pretty sure the score was like 77-7. And it was just like their best team from a league in New Zealand played the best rugby players in the United States as a whole at Soldier Field, and it was like it was just an insurmountable bloodbath.
Yeah.
We would kick the shit out of them if we wanted to.
Yeah, that's how every sport
let's
goes.
remember
by the way.
that. Let's remember
If you took right now the best athletes in hockey, basketball, football, and baseball and said, go play soccer for 6 months, we'd have the best soccer team on
Derek,
earth.
Oh, the All Blacks.
I
are
want
fucking
Derrick
good.
Henry on the USA team for this.
Yeah, good luck tackling him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You disagree.
I don't know. I don't know enough about rugby. so I
Now,
don't-
have you ever met a rugby player or anything?
Isn't PFT one? That's all I got.
I mean, like an actual there's a team called the Chicago Blaze. I've met and partied with a couple of their guys, and their legs are legitimately as big as my entire body.
Okay, I'll take
they're the
Saquon
biggest,
Barkley.
toughest motherfuckers on earth. But yes, they're not tackling Saquon Barkley.
all right, I'm going to read them off. We'll vote off who had the worst draft, and then we'll get out of here. Rico, the Masters, Rose Bowl, Final Four, Packers game, Notre Dame game. White Sox Dave, Army, Navy, World Series, MLB Stadium Tour, Red Sox game, Cooperstown. Chief, Kentucky Derby, Michigan, Ohio State, Stanley Cup Final, AC Milan game, gold medal hockey game. Eddie, Duke, North Carolina, Vegas heavyweight boxing title fight, AFC, NFC Championship, Cubs game, NBA Finals, Tate, Super Bowl, World Cup, LSU night game, Maui Invitational, home run derby. Write it down. Do what you got to do. Jacob, be ready to break a tie because you only got 4 people because Chief left.
I'll go first.
He's nervous right now because he doesn't have the list in front of him.
Chief.
His eyes got so big
all right.
when you said that.
I'll reread it to him. What do
Chief.
It's Chief?
Chief.
Who do you got, Tate?
I have Ed.
I have Tate. So Chief is out.
I thought it was going to be a clean sweep. 2 soccer, 2 hockey. That's why I made the point.
And not
I think the championship Sunday, I didn't say this, that pick completely stinks. No one's ever been like, oh man, one day I just would love to go to a NFC title game.
You
No one's
just
ever
you just,
said that
no,
ever
you're
in the
just,
history.
you just
Again, you have to put it's a chicken and the egg. You have to assume when you read it, you're going for your team.
yeah. Dave just
Like
no.
there's
Dave
a
just.
part, you know.
I'm Dave's
we're not getting
default
like
vote,
super
so that's all
specific.
that
Obviously,
matters.
like the NBA Finals, Eddie's picking game. Like you're definitely picking Game 7, and that.
Rico.
But like, yeah, when you're assuming your team is involved in those things.
Bosco's going to sweep this. This first
This
three
guy
picks-
took Cooperstown. He's gonna try to pick me, Mr. Cooperstown.
Yeah,
I think I could win this thing.
I think you can win it too.
Depending on how much people put on the prize fight, because that was the one
good pick.
where I was like, if I get this guy sleeper, I was like, this one's gonna fucking put me above. I think you have to have a respect for it, but there's not like prize fights are tough to. I don't think I'll ever fucking go. It's one of the like that's on your bucket list,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to be a big boxing guy to respect it. But you're like, yeah, I went, a fucking heavyweight fight, like sick.
That's what. Totally agree there, Rico. Like for most just like average sports fans, a heavyweight fight would be on a bucket list. No average sports fan has ever said, man, I would love to go to the NFC or AFC championship one day, ever in the history of fandom until today.
I don't know how you could say that definitively.
Because it's in the moment thing. You got the Super Bowl right after it.
I took a meaningful game. That is reasonable that someone would want to go to that. It's literally the second most meaningful game in the season,
But
besides all other playoff games too.
Yeah,
I think that was what.
I think
why I
you're gonna
voted
get
for you,
weight.
that
You're gonna
pick.
get weight because people are gonna assume it's their team, as they should.
And if it's not your team, you're the only one who holds resentment towards every other franchise. Well, winning franchise, I guess, which I do too a little bit. But
Is that not how sports work?
yeah,
Love
but
your
like,
team and hate other teams.
but like I don't hate Philly yet. Like, like they're still they've had success, but
I don't know.
I don't have the stand for them yet. Like
Okay,
I do
I was
for-
hamming it up for the sake of being on camera and everything, but I don't want to be in a stadium surrounded by people that are experiencing joy if I'm not.
Okay.
Is
All
that
right.
not fair?
All right.
I guess I just like to see sports. All right, that's it, everyone.
Good draft,
Rico,
Eddie.
thank you. Tate, thank you.
Thank you.
That's
All
it,
right.
everyone. Thank you for watching.